Good morning, everyone. While we're waiting for others to get in and get settled, now's a good time to grab anything you need to get comfortable. Maybe that's a glass of water or a hot cup of tea or coffee. Also, if you have items at home and you'd like to smudge with us, it's a good time to grab those items as we begin to ignite the healing within. If you don't have smudge at home, that's okay, relatives. We're going to send you some cleansing, healing, and positive energy your way. It's a new day. It's another sunrise, another sunset, a different phase of the moon. And this is our opportunity to take stock of how we're feeling, what we need to move forward on our wellness path. We can lean into each other today, relatives. I have my ginger tea all ready. Can't wait to pour it. Aloha, kakayaka. My name is Malia. Hello and good morning. And I'm a community healer at the HIR Wellness Institute. We are a nonprofit organization that focuses on the mental health and wellness of our relatives of Turtle Island, as well as other Indigenous and underserved communities, and also victims of crime. You can join us here every Monday through Friday at 8 a.m., where we will always breathe, stretch, explore ways of integrating self-care and wellness into our daily lives, and we will always honor our cultural traditions, our customs, our ancestry, our strength, and our resilience. So thank you so much for joining us this morning, relatives. I'd like to take a moment to recognize our HIR Wellness Institute team members who are here with us this morning. We have our bilingual victim service advocate, Jessica Rodriguez. And when you see the HIR Wellness Institute commenting this morning, that is Jessica. Good morning, Jessica. How are you doing? We also have our occupational therapist with us, Claudia Myers-Smith. Good morning, Claudia. How are you both doing today? And to our relatives out there, I want to say good morning. Thank you so much for joining us today. As we are in this circle of care to serve you and to serve all of us who need healing. We all have a story. We all walk with pain, but we also all walk with resilience. And when we are in this circle of care, Claudia brings her talents and the gifts given to her by the Creator to serve you as an occupational therapist and through her years of experience. For any of our Spanish-speaking relatives out there, Jessica is bilingual, and if you need to speak to someone, you're more than welcome to speak Spanish here. And as a community healer, my purpose here with you all today is to remind you that when we are practicing what our founder and CEO Leah Denny has coined and developed as community-activated medicine, that means all of us are together, shoulder to shoulder, or in this case, I guess proverbially, shoulder to shoulder, but we're all here shoulder to shoulder. Not one is greater than the other. And as a community healer, I'm just here to remind you that if, when we're practicing community-activated medicine, we have the ability to lean into others and for others to lean into us for their healing, that means we have within our own hearts, our own minds, our own bodies, and our own spirits, the ability to do our own part of our own healing. As our founder Leah says, healing is not complicated. And it may not always be easy, relatives, but there's an infinite number of things that we can do throughout our day while we're on this journey path of mental health and self-care and wellness. Infinite things that we can do every single day and at any given moment to heal. So that being said, relatives, let's do a check-in and see how you're doing. How are you today? What helps for me sometimes, and you can try it too if you like, is doing a body scan. Because interestingly enough, through our trauma, and when we get into our headspace and our mind is spinning circles, or if we're feeling just emotionally feeling pain, or we're just feeling disconnected from present time because we're too busy being in the past, or we're too busy worrying about the future, it disconnects us from the present. So when we ground ourselves, it's very healing, just connecting to the space around us. And that's why a body scan is so important. Healing trauma can come from connecting to the body. And with that, a body scan, what is it? Well, you can close your eyes if you want, or you don't have to. It's really however you feel comfortable, but you just take a moment to scan the body. I always start from head to toe, and you can kind of start, at the forehead, or are there areas where you might be feeling discomfort or tension, anxiety, or maybe even coming out as pain in your body? You can scan your temples, your jaw, maybe scan down to your neck. How are your shoulders feeling? Are they tight? Are they up here? Or do they feel relaxed? We can scan to our chest. Perhaps you're feeling tightness there, or maybe you feel really balanced. And we'll scan down to our tummies. Perhaps your tummy feels good, or maybe it's feeling a little bit sore. Maybe there's some digestion happening there. Scanning down to our hips and lower back. I actually do feel a little bit of pain in my hip. I've been feeling it for quite some time. And then we're going to scan down to our legs and our knees. How are your knees feeling? Your calves, your ankles, the heel of your foot, the arch of your foot, your toes. Now we can go back up and scan to our arms, forearms, our wrists, our hands and our fingers. Now let's do a little bit of a different body scan. We're going to go to our heart. Are there feelings or emotions that are lying heavy there? Or does your heart feel full and free? And let's do a final scan in our mind, in our thoughts. Are there thoughts that are cycling in your mind that you can't seem to stop thinking about? I call that the rabbit hole. Maybe you're there. Are there things that maybe kept you up late last night? Or does your mind feel refreshed, focused, and at ease? And with that, relatives, let's do a check-in. Feel free, always know, relatives, that you're welcome to comment here in the comment section. Whether you come into these videos at 8 o'clock or 8:30 or towards the end of them, you're always welcome to check in, because these videos are for you. They're for you, they're for your healing, they're for your reflections, and they're also to honor who you are. So if you need to speak your truth, that's what these comments are for. If you want to talk about it, that's what the comment section is for. So check in, let us know how you're doing. And if you don't want to check in, that's okay. But give yourself a moment to decide where you're at. Because like I said, whether you're commenting in the comment section or you're just keeping it to yourself, this is all about you, your healing and your comfort level, relatives. Your healing journey, that path, is your choice on how you want it to look, the rate at which you want to travel it, and even the path itself. And while you're taking a moment to see how you're feeling, to check in with us or just check in with yourself, I'm going to go ahead and pour myself a cup of tea. I'll share it with you. So I've been making ginger tea. Um, Ginger root is such a powerful anti-inflammatory. It has so much goodness in it. It helps with digestion. It can actually help with pain. It can help revitalize the brain. It can help with nausea. When I was pregnant with my son, that was a long time ago, ginger root was one of the only things that I could even ingest without getting extremely sick. But I also have some turmeric root with me, and you can see here, I've just been taking the time this week, excuse me, to prep ginger tea and turmeric tea. And they're kind of similar. They're both roots. Um, they both are anti-inflammatories. They're both good for digestion. They're both very warming, so they do warm the body. They're great for revitalizing the mind without caffeinating. They are caffeine free. Um, One of the things that I love about ginger and turmeric is you can put them both in a tea, or you can have each one separate. But either way, they have their own unique, delicious taste. They work great together if you want to combine them. If I have them both on hand, I combine them. If I don't have them both on hand, I'll just have one or the other. So this is one of the ways that I start my wellness for the day is with tea, unless I want to sleep in. If I if I want 10 extra minutes of sleep, then I'll just go ahead and sleep in, and that might be how I start my day on wellness is just sleeping in. But if I do have the time and I have that 10 extra minutes, I will prepare myself a pot of ginger tea or turmeric tea. And I just have my vegetable peeler and I just peel the skins. And when you look at this turmeric I've noticed comes in different colors. Sometimes it's a deep orange and other times it's a lighter color. This is almost a lighter orangey yellow, almost like a canary yellow. I'm gonna smell it. It smells like honey and cinnamon and carrot and pepper. It has all these beautiful aromas to it. And if you want to, relatives, share what your elixir is this morning, whether it be your tea or your coffee. Maybe it's kombucha or citrus water. Maybe it's just a glass of water. Um, Maybe it's milk. Whatever it is, feel free to share because you can always, be an influence, a positive influence on all our relatives here together, or you can inspire others to maybe try something new. See, just peeling it like that. Also, too, I don't measure, like, if I have a small pot, like a 2-cup pot, or maybe even a 4-cup pot, or even bigger, I like my teas, really flavorful. So I'll tend to just, like, a rough estimate would be like a thumb size per cup. So if you have like 2 cups of tea, but I put a lot in, and I don't measure. I just do filtered water, and I'm just peeling. And the other thing about it too, is see how it can, I don't know if you can see that, but turmeric stains. So I wouldn't recommend wearing your favorite shirt if you're peeling turmeric. And it will stain your fingers too. So if you don't like that, then turmeric might just be good to stick with the ginger or put on gloves. But I'm not the type to put on gloves. I'll just let my hands be stained. Um, this also goes really good too with honey. So if you have a local honey and you have allergies, local honey and turmeric is excellent. Actually, just even a spoonful of local honey. Now this is a lot of ginger, so I think I'm just gonna break it in half and I'll just use this piece. I'm gonna peel that. And see, look at the color here of the ginger. It's almost like a potato color. It's very light, but it smells so good. Similar to the turmeric, not exactly the same. In a blind aroma test, I could tell the two apart. Ginger has kind of a more spicy, I don't know if I can explain it, almost like an effervescent smell. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but And I know that relatives out there, sometimes it's hard to find fresh turmeric, but fresh ginger is generally easier to find at most stores. Turmeric, maybe it's at your grocery store, maybe you might have to go to like one of the more, like, you know, health food oriented grocery stores. In my local area, I go to Fresh Time or this um, like organic, healthy, conscious grocery store called Health Hut, and also Whole Foods. But I go to Whole Foods last. I try to avoid going there first. It's costly and a bunch of other reasons that I won't get into. But so all of these peels then, what I do with the peels is I'll just put those in the compost. I don't throw them away um, because I think the health of our land is important. That's part of our health, so I'll just put that in compost. And then what I do is I take filtered water and boil it. But right here you can just kind of see I have pre-made, you can kind of see the turmeric and the ginger root in there. I just coin sliced it. Ooh, it's hot. I won't dig in there. But you can kind of see these coin slices of ginger and turmeric in there. And I'm going to go ahead and pour a little bit just so you can see. So you can just kind of see a little bit of I forgot my coffee mug in the kitchen, but I have my water mug. So you can kind of see this here. And the color is really quite beautiful. Sometimes it's more of a lighter golden color. Sometimes it's a deep, rich orange color. It depends on how you balance the tea. And what I'm going to do too is, since I have it by me, I'm going to put a half a lemon. It's really, really good for the skin and your immunity. This is a great thing to put into your system first thing in the morning, is a glass of water, half a lemon. Or in this case, I'm just going to put ginger tea and lemon juice. And I'm just going to squeeze it in there. And I don't mind that there's seeds going in there. They're just going to sink to the bottom. But if you mind, you could always strain them out. I'm like a no frills kind of person. I just do I do the least possible work to get this done. To each his own. I'm just getting my thumbs in there and squeezing it all out. No fancy machines. And then this, it's really cool to do this. You can compost it or put it in your garbage disposal to freshen it. But I'll stick this right in my pots and pans. Like after I cooked, I'll just stick it in there with some water and let it soak overnight. And the next day, it's so easy to clean. Okay. So a toast to all of our relatives out there, to your health, to finding your own way to integrate healing and wellness and self-care practices into your life today and for the rest of the week. Love it. Peppery and spicy and effervescent and sweet and sour. I didn't even add any sweetener to it. Every time we meet relatives, I like to share a different breathing exercise. And every week we teach a different breathing technique. And the technique that we've been doing this week is called pursed lip breathing. Now, pursed lips are kind of like if you're drinking into a straw or blowing out a candle. Same look, right? We're pursing the lips. Oh, also too, I want to say, relatives, I'm not seeing any comments. I'm not sure why. Let me see if I can look. So anyways, if there's comments, Jessica, please do copy and post them. I can see your comments. So, and we can talk about it. So feel free to comment in the comment section, and then Jessica can just repost on the thread. But anyways, back to the deep breathing. Deep breathing is a powerful healing tool. And it's one of the things that I go to in my day regularly. I like to call it what one of our elders has said, this is our medicine kit. And what I mean by that is there's tools and exercises and healing techniques that we can use throughout the day whenever we need them. And so anytime that you're feeling that maybe your mind is racing, or you're starting to feel anxious or panicky or maybe upset or angry or any of those emotions that aren't serving you, you can go to your medicine kit. And that's why I teach a different breathing technique every week, because you can use a technique that you feel is suitable for you at the moment. With the pursed lip breathing, one of the really good benefits about it is that it's good for your lungs. And right now we're in cold season. We're, of course, in this pandemic that is still going on for about 10 months now. We're into that. And so the health of our lungs is really important. What's really cool about breathing is that if you have a racing mind, it'll slow down those racing thoughts. When we're deep breathing, it slows down our heart rate. And it silences the mind. Our mind is overworked. We're thinking an awful lot as Westerners with lots of responsibilities. And when we connect to the heart space, the language there does not have words. And therefore our brain can rest. The language of our heart is in our emotions. And that's how we connect to spirit. That's how we stay calm. That's how we can become present. And as I said earlier in this video, being present is healing. Deep breathing centers us and it grounds us. So with our pursed lip breathing, we can breathe in through the nose for a count of 4. We can exhale through the mouth for a count of, let's actually exhale for a count of 8. We'll take it slower. So in through the nose for 4, out through the mouth for 8. And as we do this breathing, relatives, you can sit, lay, or recline however you feel comfortable. You can close your eyes if you want to, but you don't have to. And I invite you, if there's areas in your body, remember we did the body scan where you might be feeling pain or discomfort or tension or whatever, or if there's thoughts that have been racing, as you breathe in through the nose, allow that air to cleanse those parts of you, to bring healing to that part of your body or your mind or your thoughts or your spirit that needs it. And when we exhale, we can release whatever's not serving us. And as we move on into this breathing, then we'll go into our stretch. We'll go right into it. All right. Are you ready, relatives? Deep inhale. And exhale. Deep inhale. And exhale. Breathe that healing energy in through the nose. And exhale. Deep inhale. And exhale. Just continue to breathe. Now we're going to roll the shoulders, releasing any tension or anxiety you're holding there. Let's go ahead and inhale as we bring the arms out, stretching what you need. Yawn if you have to. Let it out. We're going to bring that arm across, rolling out the wrist, stretching the shoulder and upper back. Deep inhale. Remember, relatives, these are just guidelines. Stretch how you need to. If you need to stand up, if you need to stretch your legs or just your fingers or whatever you need, listen to your body, trust it. Bring that arm out in front of us, pushing down gently on the fingertips, stretching the forearm and wrist. If you don't like this, you can roll the wrist or choose another stretch. Deep inhale. Clasping the fingers, palms out and up towards the ceiling, and gently bending from side to center. And we're going to go ahead and push down on the opposite elbow, stretching the tricep here. And hit that other side. And let's finish with the next stretch, looking from side to center. While we're deep breathing, double tapping the ear towards the shoulder. And then we're going to roll that chin from shoulder to shoulder, keeping it in the front. And then we're going to finish by looking down gently towards our lap and then up towards the ceiling, stretching the neck. How'd that feel, relatives? All right. One of the most powerful tools of healing for me that I've found is culture as medicine. And this is why I want to share the lunar phase that we're in today, according to my ancestral teachings. And the reason I share, relatives, is because for many of us who've grown up immersed in our culture, maybe it's going to powwows or our ancestral dances, or maybe it's the way we pray or how we eat, or the way that we talk to and respect our elders, or the songs that we sing. Maybe it's family recipes. But culture as medicine is very powerful. I know for me, when I lost my twin sister, Miley, it was a horrible, horrible loss. It was a brutal loss. And there were times in my life when that happened that I just didn't know how I could go on, or there were just days where I didn't want to wake up. And there were times where I didn't think I could keep going. But what kept me going every day was my culture. Knowing that I could connect to my ancestors in the way that I was taught. Knowing that they're not truly gone. And in our Hawaiian ancestry, we were taught that our ancestors were always there, and all we had to do is ask. Ask for them to listen to us in our dreams and in our chants. And another way culture as medicine really helped me through it was through dance and through prayer. So for those of us who've been fortunate enough to grow up immersed in our cultural way, whatever way that is, I just speak from the perspective of being Hawaiian because that's who I am. Those of us who grew up immersed in our culture, we know how healing it can be. But for those of our relatives out there who maybe didn't have that opportunity to grow up in your culture, it's okay. I want you to know there's no shame there. It's never too late. I have the opportunity to work with many of our relatives, our elder relatives. And because of their trauma, because of the generation they grew up with and the oppression that they dealt with, they were not able to celebrate their culture. They weren't able to practice their culture or speak it. That's even the generation of my dad. They couldn't have Hawaiian names. They couldn't speak Hawaiian. So they grew up disconnected from it. But what I want you to know, relatives, no matter how old you are, and no matter whether you've been exposed to your culture or not, it's never too late. And it can be very healing for you. So I encourage you, reach out to your elders and your family if you're connected to them. Or you know what? Reach out to your community members. If you know you're Hawaiian or Native or wherever you come from, whatever part of the globe, whatever tribe, whatever clan, whatever chiefdom, whatever geographic location, whatever color of the rainbow you are, Google, search it out, look into it. Because sometimes healing, it doesn't always come from a counselor. It doesn't always come from a doctor. It doesn't always come from a prescription. And I'm not knocking any of those things. Those things can be very powerful too. But sometimes culture as medicine can be powerful. Sometimes connecting to your community, like we are right now, in community activated medicine is what we're doing. We're connecting to each other. Our ancestors knew that. As a matter of fact, for our ancestors, it wasn't even a choice, it was a matter of survival. It's age old. So culture is medicine, relatives, and that's why, going back full circle, I share with you the lunar phase that we're in every time that we meet according to my ancestral teachings. And we call the native Hawaiian lunar calendar Kealo Oka Mahina, which basically translates as the pathway of the moon. And in my teachings, we see that there's a different moon every day of the month. So there's 30 moons, 30 different ones, one for every day of the month. And the moon that we're in today, I'm so excited because we're in the poi poi phase. That's a 10-day full moon phase. And today, tomorrow, yesterday, we are in the fullest phase of the moon. The name of the moon today is Hoku. Hoku. Hoku also means star. But if you go outside tonight, you're going to see the moon bright and full. And then tomorrow, Mahialani will be the fullest phase of the moon. And when we're in the full moon phases, actually any moon phase, from my ancestral teachings, we know what we can plant and what we can fish. There's certain days we don't fish for certain things if we follow our ancestral teachings. And there's certain things we plant or don't plant because the moon does her work, right? Grandmother Moon, she's age old. She knows when we're supposed to plant things. So on specific days, we plant specific things. Sometimes we don't plant at all. But if you're like, okay, I'm not a fisherman, I'm not a gardener, what does this have to do with my wellness? Well, one, culture is medicine. But two, also, as a native Hawaiian, I grew up as a hula dancer, and which is a very spiritual, that's how I connect to my land space, that's how I connect to spirit. But as hula dancers, we're brought up to mimic what we see in nature. So, we might talk about rains, or we might talk about winds or breezes or the blossoming of flowers. We might even talk about fire or the heavens. And it goes on and on. Rocks, lightning, there's so many things. And we're just mimicking, I shouldn't say just, but we're mimicking cycles in nature and things that we observe in nature. So on your healing journey, if you care to integrate some of these principles into your daily wellness of the teachings of the moon, so planting is really good in the full moon season. But if we're not planting, fishing is really good too. If we're not planting or fishing, how does that translate for us from the physical world, the natural world, to what we can do for our wellness? I always think about this. When you think about your dreams or your goals or your aspirations or even your bucket list or any of these things, like maybe it's a New Year's resolution. And you think each of those desires and those things that serve you as a seed, just a single seed. Imagine how many infinite of those seeds are dormant in you. Okay, so like maybe it might be like one day I want to be healthier. I want to um, exercise more. I want to eat better. I want to have a savings account. I want to have a healthier mindset. I want to practice more gratitude. Each one of these things are a seed. Or oh, I want to go to Hawaii. Whatever it is, they're infinite things. You decide what they are. I can't decide them for you. Those are seeds that are dormant within us, within our spirit. And within us, if we're not planting outside, we're not going outside and planting. We're talking about planting seeds of the spirit, seeds of our body and our mind and our wellness. Well, what makes a seed grow? Solid foundation, nourishment in the soil. That's why when we deep breathe, we can ground ourselves. Because we're taking those seeds that we want to grow within us, our wellness and our self care and our mental health and our healing and all these things, and we're giving it solid foundation. Deep breathing. Um, the nourishment of positive thoughts, gratitude, stretching, aiding the mind, aiding the body, and therefore clearing the mind. That's nourishing the seeds with those solid foundation. Then we have to give it water, right? We have to give it food. So we have to feed these things. Now, if you're talking about physical, your wellness is physical, lemon juice, ginger tea, that's the water of nourishing that seed. Maybe it's nutritious food. Maybe it's speaking kindly to yourself if you want to work on your self-esteem. So we have the solid foundation, and then we nourish with the water, with the emotions, with the care, with the attention. And then sunlight, light, positivity. Not false positivity, because that's a whole nother type of thing that's not necessarily serving us. But focusing on gratitude. We all have trauma, but we all have infinite blessings. And the more we realize that we have, the more we infinitely begin to expand in that light. This creates growth. Now, these seeds within you, remember, seeds can be dormant for years and years and years and years and years. They don't disappear. They're there when you're ready to sow, when you're ready to nurture, when you're ready to nourish, and then you can harvest. So it's not like, if 20 years ago you had this goal and then it faded away. Chances are that that seed is still there, that you can still choose to nourish that at any point in time. And with healing too. It doesn't matter your age, relatives. Like I said, I work with elders and there's still healing. It's never too late. It's never too late. The other thing that's interesting about nourishing the seeds of our spirit, of what feeds us, what serves us, you get to pick and choose those seeds. Nobody can tell you what you need to do at any given time. Now I know people might want to tell you. I know sometimes we might feel obligated, but the truth is this is your path and your journey and nobody else's. Now, if there's 7 billion people in the world and we each have a path and we're each walking our path, and like right now we're all intersecting at this path, and this is our opportunity to lean into each other for community activated medicine, to support one another. But sometimes those intersections with people on their own paths and journeys, they might not be necessarily supporting you. It might be a boulder. You come on a path and someone's like, but I want you to go on my path. And maybe that path serves you and maybe it doesn't. But truth is, and I've been saying this lately, is, our path and journey of wellness, self-care, and mental health, it's synchronous with our path and journey in life. And although we don't get to choose the hand that we've been dealt, we can choose how we're going to play it. And so, that being said, when you're on this path, you get to decide, are you going to walk? Are you going to run? Maybe you're going to take one step at a time. Maybe you're going to crawl. I know all of us crawl in our journey at some point. Many points you're going to be crawling. Or you might decide, you know what? You come to a boulder in your path and journey of wellness, and we'll come across many. And you might be like, I don't know if I'm going to walk around that, if I'm going to change my course, if I'm going to jump over it. I'm not sure. Right now, I'm just going to sit down and I'm going to lean into this boulder. There's no time limit on that. You get to decide, relatives. It is ultimately our choice, and that is empowering. But sometimes it can also be scary. Knowing that it is our choice. It doesn't mean it's easy. It doesn't mean we're not going to have those boulders, and it doesn't mean we're going to have people who try to influence us. But we can choose how we're going to play that hand. Relatives, I want to say, for some reason, I'm not seeing anyone's comments. I know there's comments out there. I wish I could see comments. There's some weird glitch happening right now. But I want you to know that we do support you. And if I could see your comments right now, we would definitely be reading all your comments and we would be talking about it. And we would be honoring what it is you have to say. But I don't see any comments. So Facebook does that once in a while. I do want to say, though, relatives, and I want to take a moment to speak to our relatives out there who aren't doing okay. And I will do this every single time that we meet. If you are not okay, it is okay not to be okay. If you're not okay, you're not okay. And don't let anyone tell you that you got to be okay. Nobody knows what you're feeling or who, you. Let you not be okay if you're not okay. But if you're not all right, you're in a good place because you're leaning into the community. I also encourage you, relatives, if you're not doing okay, reach out to someone that you trust that you can talk to. Maybe that's a friend or a family member. Maybe it's a coworker. Someone that you trust. If you're not doing okay, there's lots of things that you can do and you can choose. Is that deep breathing? Is that taking a nap? Is it journaling? Is it cooking something nutritious? Is it eating ice cream? Is it Netflix and chill? Is it going for some exercise or calling a doctor? Whatever it is, there's a lot of things you can do if you're not okay. Another thing you can do is allow yourself to feel those feelings. Just be like, you know what? I'm not okay. Take a body scan. Allow yourself to just pay attention to what it is you're feeling. Allow yourself to reflect on it. Allow yourself to say, hey, you know what? That's where I'm at. I don't feel good today. I'm upset. You don't have to swallow it all the time. Because when we swallow not feeling okay, I'm not saying if you don't feel okay, you don't necessarily have to go to the grocery store and, you know, start telling your life story to strangers. But if you're not doing okay, allow yourself to not be okay. Talk to someone about it or even have that conversation with yourself. Because if we start swallowing and being like, no, I'm fine. No, it's no big deal. And you keep putting yourself and your needs on the back burner, you start suppressing that time and time and time again. We're holding that in. And it can manifest in some really unpleasant ways. Physically, mentally, emotionally. So if you're not okay, it's okay not to be okay. Also, if you need to talk to someone, you can always call our Cares Warm line. It's open every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. And you can call or text this number. And within 24 hours, you'll be connected to one of our Cares Warm counselors. Our Cares Warm counselors will listen to you about what's on your mind. If you're feeling sad, anxious, uncertain, worried, whatever it is, maybe you don't even know what the heck it is you're feeling, but you know you're feeling some sort of way and you need to talk it out. That's what our Cares Warm line is for. And although it is not a crisis line, we can provide you with emotional support. We will listen to you with dignity, judgment free, with respect. You will be heard. That's emotional support. You can talk about it, talk it out. And what else our Cares Warm line can do is connect you to resources that may be helpful for you. Resources in advocacy, seeking shelter, safety planning. There's lots of resources. Those are just some of the things. And we can try and help you find them. Our Cares Warm line numbers are listed here on the thread. So if you need it, relatives, it's what it's there for. Now, before we go, I do want to do a chant for you. I've been doing this chant for a couple of weeks. I absolutely love it. Now, in Hawaiian, we call it chant oli. And what's really cool about this chant is I'm going to call upon our ancestors. That's literally the purpose of this chant. As I said before, as a Native Hawaiian woman, to me, I believe that in order to connect to our ancestors who've passed on to the other side, all we simply have to do is ask for their help and their guidance. And so if you need help or you need guidance today about anything, anything at all in your life, maybe things that you're uncertain about, or you just wish you had that guidance and you're not sure where to turn to, I'll call upon our ancestors right now for you. I'm going to ask our ancestors from the rising of the sun to the setting of the sun, from the zenith to the horizon, our ancestors behind us and our ancestors in front of us, and our ancestors aside of us in the heavens. I'm going to ask that they come to us, that they give us support in the form of a whisper from the heavens, or a rustling in the sky, or reverberating in the wind. I'm going to ask that they watch over you, that your ancestors watch over you, your relatives, to take care of you. Our relatives of Turtle Island, our relatives of all nations, of every color, our relatives that we are taking care of by our ancestors. I'm going to ask that the heavens grow and that the earth grow, Turtle Island grow, the world grows, Mother Earth grows. I'm going to ask for, on behalf of our ancestors, that we are given the insight and the knowledge, the strength and the intelligence, intuition, and spiritual power. This chant is called Na Omakua, which means our ancestors, and Aumakua in Hawaiian means our ancestral guardians. That could be our loved ones who have passed, or that could be our gods or goddesses or the spirit. Pay attention today or for the rest of the week for signs in nature. Maybe it's a certain wind blowing. Maybe it's a bird that reminds you of someone who's passed. Maybe it's your clan animals. In Hawaii, we have our aumakua. They can come in the form of animals. So our ancestral guardians in my family is the shark, which I know I won't be seeing here in Wisconsin unless it comes in the form of, I don't know, maybe on a picture or something. And also the white owl. So while I'm doing this chant for your relatives, I invite you for those questions or thoughts that you have unanswered, for the guidance that you may be seeking. Allow yourself to deep breathe through this chant and stay open. Maybe if you have thoughts during this chant, you write them down. Or just breathe through it and allow whatever guidance you get. Allow yourself to reflect on that. Na amakua, a kala hiki, a kala ka ka ho'okui, a ka halawai. Na amakua, ya kahina kua, ya kahina alo, ya o kiha I kalani. O ve I kalani. Nunulu I kalani, ka holo I kalani. E a ka pula pula a o ko. O relatives of all nations. O relatives of Turtle Island. E malama o ko ya mako. E ulu I kalani, e ulu I ka honua, e ulu I ka pai aina o Mother Earth. O United States. O Turtle Island. E ho mai ka I kaika. E ho mai ka aka mai. E ho mai ka maopopopono. E ho mai ka ike pāpālua. E ho mai ka mana. E ho mai ka ike mai luna mai e. O nā mea hunau no e au nā mele. E ho mai, e ho mai, e ho mai, e ho mai ka ike mai luna mai e. O nā mea hunau no e au nā mele. E ho mai, e ho mai, e ho mai, e ho mai ka ike mai luna mai e. O nā mea hunau no e au nā mele. E ho mai, e ho mai, e ho mai e. I want to say mahalo nui loa. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, relatives. Ma lama pono I ko kino. Take good, righteous care of your body, your mind, your heart, and your spirit. Aloha nui. Huge love to you all out there. Before we go, relatives, there is a community survey linked to this video. It's completely anonymous and it asks just a few questions. And that is how we're able to keep all of our services at the HIR Wellness Institute completely free. We will never ask you for a penny for your healing. All you need to do to continue on your path of wellness, self-care, and mental health is to decide that you want to reflect and decide that you want to move forward in the way that suits you. At the HIR Wellness Institute, we will never ask you for a penny or for your insurance card. It does not matter to us if you have one or not. But the way that we're able to continue to serve you and to keep all of our amazing programs for free is through this survey. It's totally anonymous, ask just a few questions, but please take it, relatives. The other thing is we have lots of virtual programs coming up. These happen via Zoom. We're already deep into our Elders Book Club this season, but we have Daughters of Tradition coming up. I always simply simplify it by saying, because believe me, it's an amazing program. It's like Girl Scouts for Native girls. It's like Native Girl Scouts. It is truly an incredible program. It begins in a few weeks in February. I want you to know that this program happens virtually. It's amazing. There's a limited space, but it really does help to teach our girls and nurture our girls as they become women to be the next advocates, the next healers, and the next leaders of our generation, of the next generation, to take care of the earth and the land, the water, to take care of each other, and to take care of our elders and all of the responsibilities. Daughters of Tradition, if you're interested in that program or any of our programs, Jessica will post the email to our Community Engagement and Indigenous Affairs Director, Jamie Kellicott, who will get you enrolled. Again, space is limited for all of these programs. We also have another amazing program. We have a bunch of them. Another that I'll talk about is our Dance with Anger. That is the title of a book. It is a book club. It is open to adults 18 and up. Dance with Anger is one of our handful of support groups that also happens on Zoom virtually. Another free program. If you're dealing with anger in your life, either in your own through your own anger or having been exposed to it in any other ways that that you feel that you need this in your healing, also reach out to Jamie Kellicott. We also have support groups about other things, including suicide. We do have our elders support group, but it is closed. We're already deep into that program. There will be enrollments for our elders book clubs for the summer. So just a lot of really cool stuff. Oh, and the last awesome program I want to talk about. You guys, relatives, this is so exciting. We have our Frozen Film Festival that has been curated by our very own Ho Chunk Advocacy Director and Community Healer Barbara Blackdeer McKenzie. Go to our Facebook page, check it out. We have 4 films, one every Thursday. I think it's at 6:30 p.m. I'm not sure of the time, but it's every Thursday in February. There's a different independent film that's going to be aired virtually. It's totally free, but the tickets are limited. We only have 100 tickets. So you get it through Eventbrite. You can find all these links on our Facebook page. Our programs are amazing, and healing can be sometimes healing, like seriously, is going to the doctor or dentist or exercise that you might not want to do. But sometimes healing is collectively being together, talking about things that we enjoy, laughter, smiles, reflection, and yes, watching the Frozen Film Festival films. These are by Indigenous writers, and what's cool too, filmmakers, is some of the filmmakers, there's always going to be a discussion section after we watch the film virtually. And so we have these live interviews and discussions, and some of them are with the filmmakers. So relatives, check it out. Ahui ho'akuno, we'll see you later, and aloha. Hope to see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. Bye, everyone.